This is the morning routine of a 24-year-old day trader, and I'm going to show you step by step how I prepare for the stock market open. It's around 8:30, 1 hour before the stock market opens. Now, the first thing that I do personally is before I even get my trading charts open, I go ahead and make myself a coffee. So one of the most common questions I get asked as a day trader is, when do you wake up and how long does it take you to prepare for the stock market open? And I think a lot of people have this idea that day traders are waking up at 5 a.m., they're looking at thousands of stocks before the stock market opens, and that they're carefully analyzing, they're sitting there for hours looking at their screens before trading has even begun. And I don't know who actually does that, but for me personally, it takes me around 10 to 30 minutes to create the watch list, depending on how long it is. So for me, I wake up at 8 a.m. every single morning, maybe a little earlier, 7:45 a.m. Keep in mind, I'm on Eastern time. So for me, the stock market opens at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. So I'm up 7:45, 8 a.m. I brush my teeth, make myself a coffee, and I'm on my charts usually by 8:20, 8:30. It takes me literally probably 10 to 30 minutes to create the watch list. So usually by 9 a.m. max, my watch list is created and I am ready to go for the open. And then for the next 30 minutes between 9 a.m. to 9:30, I'm talking with my mentorship students. I am reviewing the watch list with them, and I'm mentally getting prepared for the trading day. So, obviously I've been doing this for 4 years. I can create my watch list in 10 to 30 minutes, but if you're a beginner, it's obviously going to take you a bit longer because you don't know exactly what to look for. But once you have that experience, you're not going to be spending hours and hours behind the charts looking at your screen before the stock market even opens. Now, this might be a little bit much, but I've been recently putting some whipped cream in my coffee, and it might be a little bit extra. Maybe it's not the healthiest way to start your morning, but it is amazing. For all the people who are new to my YouTube channel, I am located in Florida, and I am lucky enough to have the ocean right behind me every time I wake up. So for me, I always spend at least 10 to 15 minutes out here on the balcony looking out onto the view because it has this really calming quality about it. I feel grounded here in Florida, especially compared to New Jersey. That's where I grew up. I would look outside, I would just see a road. And for some reason, being out almost immediately in nature from your apartment, it gives me this super calming and grounding feeling, because as traders, before the stock market opens, one of your top priorities is to get locked in. You have to be mentally prepared, you have to be distraction free, and you have to be in a certain mindset where you could just follow your trading plan and your logic, your objectivity takes over. As traders, we can't have our emotions drive our decision making. That's when you lose money. That's when you make decisions that are not following your trading plan. So you have to find a way to get yourself in that mental state where you could trade successfully, because at the end of the day, my decisions this morning, my actions is what's going to dictate how much money I make. I have to hold myself to an extremely high standard, and I have to make sure I'm in that mental state where I can make money, because if I'm not, I'm gonna either lose money or I'm just not gonna capitalize on really good opportunities. So that's our one of our top jobs as traders, is to make sure we're always in that mental state before trading and during trading as well. Different people have different ways of getting into that mental state. My father, who trades, he likes to take walks before the market opens. That's what gets him into the state. My cousin Greg, who also trades, who I was able to teach in the last year, he goes to the gym before the market opens. So I think exercising is a great way to get into that mental focus, but everyone's gonna have their own different ways. Some people read before the market opens, that calms them down. So you have to find a way to get into that laser focused and objective mental state. So now I'm creating my morning watch list. And for this, I primarily am going to be looking at the daily chart because I am a gap trader, which means I trade stocks that had overnight changes in price. These are called gaps. So if a stock, let's say, closes at $5 yesterday, and today at the stock market open, it's opening at $8, that's a $3 overnight change in price. These are the stocks that I'm going to be focusing on because these are the stocks that show the most momentum, not only in the morning, but throughout the trading day. And as day traders, we want to be trading stocks that are moving, that have momentum. And you're not going to find any stocks that move more than gapping stocks in the morning, where you could have a stock that gaps that moves 20% in the first 30 minutes of the day, or 30% in the first 30 minutes of the day. And that's where you can make money because they're actually moving. So once we assemble the list of all of the highest quality gapping stocks, and I determine the quality of them based on set criteria that I have. Once I get my list, what I do is I wait for a strategy to appear when the stock market opens. I wait for a setup to be formed. And once the setup is formed, I know my entry, I know my stop loss, I know the quality of that setup. From there, I'll decide whether I should take that trade or whether I should pass on that trade and wait for another opportunity. Alrighty, let's go ahead and look at some of my top watches for this morning. The first one is going to be DXC. This is something that closed yesterday at 1987, and we're going to be looking at the daily chart here, right here. Okay, so we've been downtrending on the daily chart. In more recent times, we kind of retraced to this declining 20 MA. The all-time low is 1861, and we are gapping to around 1560. So we're gapping right here. So the issue with this is that it's a really huge gap. We are gapping, significantly below all-time lows. And when it's this big of a gap down, they could actually sometimes get bought instead of shorted, right? So it might actually move up. And for us, or for me as a trader, if it's gapping down, I'm 90% of the time going to be looking to short it. But unfortunately, this one is gapping down a little bit too much below support. So I'm going to watch it, but it's not, my super favorite. What my favorite is a CBRL. And notice what CBRL did compared to that DXC we just looked at. We kind of have the same situation. We've been downtrending on the daily, okay? And you look at more recent memory, more recent time, we had a retracement into that declining 20 MA. We had a lot of buying here. We closed yesterday at 57.23, and then all of a sudden today we're gapping to around 50.35, which is right here. We are gapping directly below all-time lows. We're gapping below a retracement, so we're gapping below a ton of buying, which could be powerful for all the people who bought it. It's going to trap all of those buyers. Those buyers may be forced to sell and exit their positions, and we're gapping directly under support, which I really, really like. So, and we're continuing the downtrend on the larger time frames, which is the daily chart. So I'm going to be watching CBRL for a close watch. We have Reddit. This has been moving up. Last 3 days we were getting sold off on Reddit, and all of a sudden today and yesterday we closed at 56.33. Today we're opening at around 61.70. So we're opening right here. I like how we're opening above 2 red bars. We're opening above a bunch of selling that occurred. Very interesting. It's going to be a very powerful gap. It's trapping a lot of the short sellers, and it's a bullish gap, so I'm going to be looking to play this long. DESP is gapping to $14. DSP is something that closed at 12.54 yesterday, opening above all-time highs, which I like. It's over resistance. Looks like it wants to continue the daily uptrend, and it does have room to move higher. Obviously, we're into all-time highs, I believe, on this. Yep, high. So interesting. I'm definitely going to be watching it. It's kind of similar to the CBRL. This one, where we're gapping into all-time lows for a drop. This one is gapping into all-time highs, kind of the opposite of that gap. This one is a little bit
less, it's not as good as the CBRL because we had a green bar yesterday on the CBRL. We had buying yesterday and we're gapping below that buying. With DESP, we had buying. We didn't have a sell-off yesterday. If we were gapping above red bars, like if this was like, let's say instead of this bar, it was a massive red bar lower, and then we were gapping above that, we were gapping above a bunch of selling, that would have been significantly more powerful. But we're gapping after 3 days of buying, so it's not going to be as powerful. And yeah, those are my main watches for the morning. Let's see how they actually perform once the stock market opens.
Alrighty, it is 11:30, about 2 hours since the market has opened. The morning session is almost over, and I am up about $430. So let me go ahead and show you what I traded today. It was honestly a really slow morning. There weren't that many watches to begin with. There was only a few stocks that I was interested in, and I actually caught one of the ones that I mentioned before the market opened when we actually created our watch list. So let me go ahead and show you. This is my monitor. I am using Thinkorswim platform. So you guys remember that CDRL? Remember we saw this before the market opened, how it gapped below support and I thought it had room to fall. That's exactly what I focused on this morning. So we had to move up. It started to drop. I was thinking about getting in right here, like 2 or 3 minutes into the market open, but it would have been way too big of a stop loss. My stop loss would have had to been up here, so I passed on that. It dropped, then retraced. I was looking to actually get in under the lows of this candlestick, and this is called a sell setup. It's like a retracement, started to base. I missed my entry, but I still wanted to get in, so I ended up entering somewhere right here as it took out this bar's low. So I got in with about close to 500 shares, and let's go to another time frame. Let's go to the 5-minute time frame. Started to drop and I took profit somewhere around here. All right, and that made me about $577. So a little bit more than one risk unit for me, which is not great. I was up over $800 at the lows here, but I was going for bigger profits, so I gave it room to kind of fluctuate. And then my other loser was Reddit, where I got in to Reddit as a breakout somewhere around here, and then immediately dropped. I was down quite a bit. It was really super kind of like wild, flippy, moved very, very quickly. I don't really like stocks that move that like really quickly. It's hard to manage them. Started to move up, was feeling good, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna exit break even because I didn't like the way it was moving. It was just too wild for me. And good thing I did that because this thing collapsed and I had my stop loss here. So let's hope. I'm not even sure it would have filled me at the correct price. So I only lost $30 on this. And then my other loser was AMPG. Right in the morning, I tried to short this under the lows, but spread opened up and I took a small little loss, $120. So on the day, I'm up about $432. As you can see, I'm connected into my live account. So not a horrible day so far. It's been a quiet day, so kind of sucks how it's slow. There's not that many lucrative opportunities to make really good money, but I feel good. I feel like I caught the one trade that actually followed through this morning, and I showed you guys, the method to the madness. You know what I mean? Where in the morning we identified that CDRL. I think that's what it was called, the one that I made money on. I liked the pre-market gap. That was one of the main watches, and I capitalized on one of my main watches. And yeah, so I feel good about it. I'm probably done for the day. I could just feel that there's not that many opportunities today. It's going to be a really slow day. So I'm probably done. I'm happy with the $430 on a slow day like today. Let's hope next week is a little bit better. So this week I finished with Monday I made about $800. Tuesday I made $1,600. Wednesday I made $200. Yesterday I lost about $400, and today I am up $430. So decent week. I'm happy with it just because it was a really slow week. Not that many setups. So yeah, there you go. Hopefully this gives you some insight on the morning of a trader. Oh my God. I said I was done for the day. I was up $438. I actually stepped away for like 10 minutes, went back to my trading desk thinking, hey, maybe there's something that I'll find. And all of a sudden, I find a setup, I take it, and it was just beautiful. And not only did we make money on the trade, but I captured the entire trade. I recorded everything. Me, showing my thought process with it. Me showing you how I found it, what I liked about it, how I managed it, when I took profits. Literally every part of the trade I was able to record and kind of talk about and moderate. So I'm going to be posting that video of this trade on YouTube. So if you're not subscribed to this channel yet, maybe you're a new viewer, make sure you subscribe because you're going to learn so much in this video. I literally broke down every single part of the trade from before it triggered, before it actually hit my entry, to when I took profits. But let me go ahead and show you right now. So we're gonna go to my trading room and check out this beauty of a setup, all right? What we have here is called a buy setup. This is like a retracement pattern. We moved up, we retraced, formed a beautiful buy setup right here. I put my entry at 1451, stop loss right here, and I took some profits at the high of the day and then some profits at 1520 right here. What a beautiful setup. We look at that 5-minute chart. It almost brings a tear to my eye. And that made me $1,106. And on the day, I am up now $1,538. As you can see, of course, live data, real-time account. Perfect. And there you go, guys. And honestly, I'm proud of myself. I was patient. I found a near picture perfect setup, truly A+ setup. And I was rewarded for it. You trade following your plan. You find your A+ setups. You execute on those A+ setups. You're going to get A+ results. That's just the way trading works, right? Most people, they fail because they don't have a good plan to begin with, or even if they have a good plan, they don't follow it, and they're not disciplined. They're not patient. So, what an amazing way to end the week. I'm definitely done for the day, unless we get another picture perfect A+ setup. But I find that kind of unlikely. And yeah, slow day, not that many opportunities, but I capitalized on the opportunities that were in the markets, and that's a W for me. I'm going into the weekend feeling good, and honestly, I have a filet in the fridge right now with my name on it, waiting to be cooked. So I'm probably gonna be doing that. I think I've earned it, and yeah, maybe I'll even show you guys how I season the filet. That'll be like bonus content, but if not, and if this is the end of the video, then I'll see you guys in the next one.